I wasn't prepared for what I felt the moment I saw him. Something in his eyes pulled me in. A quiet fire, calm yet consuming. I had just joined a new advertising agency as the creative lead, full of excitement and nerves. Little did I know, my life was about to take a turn I never expected. My name is Maya, and after moving to a new city to start fresh, everything felt unfamiliar. New streets, new people, and a new office. But what shook me most wasn't the city, it was him. His name was Ryan. He was the founder of the company, and though much older than me, probably in his late 50s, there was something about his presence that defied age. He wasn't the loud type. He walked with a quiet confidence, the kind that turned heads without trying. His salt and pepper hair, sharp jawline, and deep voice made people stop and listen. But what truly drew me in was how he looked at me. Never inappropriate, but intense, curious. Like he saw right through me. For weeks, our conversations were strictly professional. Quick meetings, brief exchanges in the hallway. But something subtle stirred beneath the surface. A smile that lingered too long. A glance held a second too late. I tried to brush it off. He was my boss, and I was here to build a career, not fall into something so complicated. Yet, I couldn't deny how my heart reacted every time I heard his voice or saw his name flash across my screen. One evening, after a late meeting, I found myself alone in the conference room with him. It was raining outside, soft thunder echoing in the distance. I was packing my things when he spoke. "You've brought a new energy to this place, Maya." I looked up surprised. "I'm just trying to do my job well." "You're doing more than that," he said quietly, his gaze lingering. That moment stayed with me. Something shifted after that night. We began talking more, about ideas, about life, about things that had nothing to do with work. He'd share stories about his younger days, his travels, books he loved. I listened, fascinated, discovering layer after layer of the man behind the title. He never crossed any lines. There were no grand confessions, no inappropriate moves. Just quiet moments filled with meaning. And yet, in those silences, I felt more than I had in years. One afternoon, I caught him watching me while I was presenting to the team. His eyes weren't just focused, they were proud. As if he saw something in me that even I hadn't recognized yet. I started to see him differently too. Not just as a man of authority, but as someone with a deep heart, someone who had experienced love, loss, and still carried hope. There was an unspoken understanding growing between us. He began to trust me, rely on me. And I found myself looking forward to every meeting, every chance to sit across from him. One day, he asked if I'd join him for coffee after work, just to unwind. I hesitated for a second, then nodded. We talked for hours that evening, not as boss and employee, but as two people who simply enjoyed each other's company. It was innocent, beautifully so. The connection grew stronger. We never labeled it. There were no declarations, but in every shared smile, every thoughtful gesture, it became clear. Something real was blooming. I once asked him why he never remarried after his divorce. He smiled softly and said, "I guess I was waiting to feel something real again." That answer stayed with me for days. As time passed, we learned to understand each other without words. He'd leave a favorite book on my desk with a note. I'd bring him his favorite tea before meetings. Little things that meant everything. People around us noticed, but no one said a word. Maybe because it was subtle, or maybe because it felt natural. One evening, while walking me to my car, he stopped and said, "You've changed me, Maya." Without even trying. I didn't know how to respond. My heart was too full, my thoughts too tangled. But I smiled and said, "Maybe you changed me too." We never crossed the line society feared. There was no scandal, no drama. Just two souls finding something rare and unspoken in the chaos of life. I don't know where this path will take us. But I know this. Some connections don't need labels. They just need to be felt. And this one, I feel with my whole heart. His lips barely left mine when I pulled away, breath catching in the stillness between us. The city around us remained unchanged. Cars passing, lights blinking. But something inside me had shifted forever. My heart was racing, not from fear, but from the unfamiliar thrill of giving in. Ethan's eyes searched mine as if waiting for me to regret it. I didn't. I should probably say sorry, I whispered, brushing a loose strand of hair behind my ear. He gave a quiet smile, his voice low. Please don't. I've wanted to do that longer than I care to admit. We stood there for a moment longer, not speaking, just breathing in the tension, the warmth, the weight of what had just happened. I don't know what this means, I admitted. I wasn't expecting any of this. He stepped closer, his hand brushing lightly against my arm. Neither was I. But sometimes, the things we don't plan turn out to be exactly what we needed. I should have gone home. Should have stepped away and buried the night under routine and logic. But instead, I found myself walking beside him again. This time not as a colleague but as someone slowly unlocking a side of him I had never seen before. We didn't talk much as we walked. Words weren't needed. Just his quiet presence next to mine was enough to set every thought in motion. Eventually, we found ourselves near the harbor, a place neither of us frequented, but somehow ended up at that night. Boats bobbed gently in the water, reflecting the golden hues of distant lights. We sat on a bench near the edge, cold wind brushing past us. Ethan slipped off his coat again and placed it over my shoulders without a word. I never asked, he said after a while, turning slightly toward me. Why did you join the company all those years ago? I gave a soft laugh. Honestly, stability. I was tired of chasing dreams that led nowhere. This job, it offered a clear path, order, structure. And did you find it? He asked gently. I found something, but maybe not everything. I glanced at him. And you built all of this. What did you hope to find? His smile was almost sad. I was trying to prove something to myself, that I could create something lasting. But I didn't realize how much I was missing out on while doing it. The honesty in his voice cut through me. He wasn't the untouchable, perfect executive anymore. He was just a man who had given everything to build something, and maybe forgotten to live along the way. The air between us grew heavier, but not in a way that suffocated. It was the weight of shared understanding, of quiet longing. Ethan turned toward me, his voice low. I'm not trying to complicate your life. I know what this looks like, and I know what the world would say. I don't care about the world, I interrupted. I need to know this isn't just a moment for you. It's not. His words came instantly, no hesitation. I don't want this to be something we pretend didn't happen. I've spent too long hiding behind rules and expectations. I'm tired of it. I looked at him then, really looked. For so long he had been a symbol of success, of leadership, of untouchable strength. But tonight he was simply Ethan. Vulnerable, honest, and real. I didn't know what the future looked like, but I knew one thing. I didn't want to go back to pretending. I leaned in again, slowly this time. And when our lips met again, it wasn't by accident. It was a choice. Certain. When we finally parted, he whispered, "Come with me." I raised an eyebrow. Where? Anywhere. Somewhere quiet. Just for a while. We don't have to make promises or figure it all out tonight. I just don't want this to end here. I hesitated. Not out of doubt, but because the part of me that always played it safe was still holding on. But then I saw the look in his eyes. Not pressure, not urgency, just hope. Okay, I said, my voice barely above a breath. Let's go. We didn't go far. Just a quiet little guest house by the water. He checked us in like it was the most normal thing in the world. And I followed, heart thudding in a mix of nerves and excitement. The room was small but warm, with a window overlooking the water. We didn't touch each other again that night. Instead, we sat by the window, sipping coffee the front desk had sent up. We talked about everything and nothing. About music, memories, childhood regrets. He told me how he once thought love was a distraction. I told him how I had convinced myself I didn't need it. We didn't sleep much, but it wasn't because of nerves or fear. It was because, for the first time in a long while, we both felt seen. When the sun began to rise, casting soft golden rays across the bed, Ethan looked at me and smiled. "Whatever this turns into," he said, "I'm glad it started with an accident." I smiled back, fingers brushing his. "Some accidents are just fate in disguise."